Good morning, fellow traders. It is Monday, March 4th, first Monday of March 2019. Quarter to 6 a.m. I am Jonathan van Clute with Stock Navigators, reminding you to please do subscribe to the channel, like this video, and give us any comments. If you've got any feedback at all, we'd love to hear it and know what we can do to better help you in your trading. All right, for now, let's take a look at the S&P 500, which is where I always start things out. And pardon me, my throat this morning. We are desperately, or I should say, the bulls are desperately trying to push the price up. I mean, you can see a very significant thing here. We have this doji candle here right at the previous higher high. So technically, this is continuing the pattern of higher highs and higher lows by making a higher high. Uh, However, you can see on the intraday basis, price gapped up Sunday. So Saturday, of course, the futures markets are closed, and this is the ES futures contract, S&P 500 futures contract. So price gapped up and then ran up higher, and then very quickly sold down, and now it's being pushed back up again. So there are sellers at this level. There's no question about it. Price did not gap up and run. It immediately moved basically to fill the gap. And I wouldn't be at all surprised to see that gap completely fill. We still have this piece here that has been not filled. So I would expect to see that gap want to fill, especially given that we are up at such a pivotal level. We are right at the outer bound of this sell zone here, and the doji right here showing some indecision in this market, although it's only today's session, so it's only the last almost 6 hours. So, take that for what you will. But the bulls are being very, very determined to keep pushing things up. Right now, technically speaking, the trend is still up. We've got this big push, and it is at the level now where it really is most likely to want to correct. The combination of the extension that we're at here, based on this move here, we do have the 161.8 extension has been overcome, and we have gotten over the 2800 level, which was pretty significant, and we are now right up in here at this triple top level. So you put all that together, and to me, there's so much overhead resistance right here, and seeing that price tries to push higher and then just doesn't hold it up. I am looking for that correction, and of course, that means the market could continue for a while, because always seems to be that if you are very specifically expecting something, the market chooses not to give it to you. But if we do correct from here, this is the general level I'm looking for, somewhere in this range between this 38.2 level and this 61.8 level. That is what I would ideally like to see for a healthy correction. Form a higher low somewhere, anywhere in here, and then break this level in order to go higher. That's what I'm looking for. And I don't know exactly when we're going to get it. It'll happen at some point, because markets always have to correct. 100% of the time, they will correct, and they will give you either higher highs and higher lows, or lower lows and lower highs eventually. It's just a question of exactly when does that happen. So keep an eye out for that. But right now, right this instant, clearly the trend is still up. 21 EMA is trending sharply higher. So take that for what you will. We'll have to see what the market wants to do this morning. Do the U.S. buyers come in and just shove this market higher? Generally, I would expect to see some excitement on their part starting around 5 a.m. this morning. And, I don't see a whole heck of a lot. A little bit to the upside, but not much. This is a pretty sleepy morning. At midnight when Europe came online, they pushed the price down. From midnight on, they definitely pushed the price down, and now they're just letting it come back up. We'll have to see. Does the U.S. session push it down, or try to push it higher? Maybe trap a few more of the retail public, convince a little bit more of the retail public to jump in long at this level, and then correct, because that is typically what happens. So we will have to wait and see. Now, let's take a peek at gold. And Oh, sorry, this is not gold. This is crude. Thought so. It didn't look right. So yes, crude oil has hopped over its level here. We were looking for it to break this level, this high here, and there was a little exploratory attempt here, just signifying that the bulls are testing and formed their higher low and broke through, tested it as support, and now at the moment anyway, it looks like it's going to hold. So the trend is certainly up. Again, we haven't really had a serious correction here. This is a very, very strong upwards push. We're following this trend line here just beautifully, and every pullback to it is an opportunity to go long and capture another little piece. But we're getting to the level where a pullback really is what makes the most sense, and form higher low. It's really quite similar to the ES chart in this regard, is that it does need to make a higher low. I mean, technically, yeah, we had the higher high here, we had the higher low there. Now we've had a higher high here, we've had a higher low there. Those are valid higher highs and higher lows. They're just not much in the way of a retracement. I would prefer to see, from this low here, I would prefer to see something like a solid 38.2 to 61.8% retracement, and we haven't even really gotten the 38.2. Got kind of close, but didn't get to it, didn't pierce it, and certainly didn't get down between the 38.2 and the 61.8. So right now, anyway, we just haven't had much of anything in the way of a decent correction, and I'm waiting for that to happen. I really think it's due. But at the moment, if you're going to simply trade in the direction of the trend is up. There's no question. 21 EMA is up. On the intraday time frame, on the 60-minute, there's, a lot of swinging around, up and down, up and down. There's definitely intraday volatility to be had, and you can see some very nice swings here. This was at 8 a.m. On what, Friday? I guess this was. This is on the first. Yeah. So this was 8 a.m. on Friday, and there was, it was definitely a big down day. And then at that point over the weekend, not a whole lot happened. Recaptured a little bit of that move, but nothing spectacular. Now we'll have to see what happens and watch for either a break of this low here, or if price can really take off to the upside and hold up here, retrace this whole thing and break that level, then we're looking to try to go higher from there. But certainly there are intraday swings to be had. Draw your trend lines and use your retracement levels and just try to capture a piece of these moves when they happen, as they certainly do happen. You can see the 21 EMA swinging down, swinging up, swinging down. There is certainly intraday volatility to be had in both directions. So watch your higher highs and higher lows and lower highs, and trade accordingly. Now, gold. So gold has kind of gotten spanked. It was progressing very nicely, higher highs and higher lows, higher highs and higher lows, and riding this trend line very, very well. Broke out up over this zone here, took out these highs here, and then retreated back into the zone, hung out for a little while sideways, and now has just given way to the downside. Now, that is actually healthy because we need a retracement. This move needs a good retracement. We had a retracement here down to the 61.8 exactly. So that was a very nice, perfect retracement. Now from there, if this is our retracement level, which at the moment it certainly appears to be, then we have already gotten to the 38.2, and I am looking for something to go like in here. Ideally, that's what I'd love to see, something around 50% to 61.8. That is my ideal. So we'll have to see, but we've already got the 38.2. If this is going to be a very strong, strong bull market to the upside, if we're going to go break this previous high area, a little over 1400, and really establish some highs, especially if we're going to go on a tear and gold's going to set new all-time highs and all of that kind of thing, well, then I would expect to see a very shallow retracement here, because then that means the next move is going to be that much stronger. So we'll have to see what happens. If this market does burn a lot of its energy getting all the way back to 61.8 or maybe even to 76.4 or nearer to that level, then the next push up is likely to not be quite as strong and might have a hard time challenging this level. We'll have to wait and see what happens, obviously, when it gets up there. But at the moment, anyway, Want to see how far this pullback goes before it turns around and starts heading to the upside. But I'm looking for it to form that higher low and establish continuation to the upside. We've also traded back down into this channel, so it's perfectly possible that if price comes down here, maybe tests the bottom of the channel, which would coincide nicely with the 61.8, of course. Then we might see price get stuck in this channel for a little while, and maybe it continues to bounce around and channel for a little while as it did back here. So that is also a distinct possibility. We just need to see what happens. But right now, anyway, this is a correction in an uptrend, and we just need to see how far it's going to go. On the intraday, come on, which won't let me. Oh, because I'm already zoomed out all the way. So on the intraday, obviously we were marching along nicely, following that beautiful trend line, and we broke it decisively. And if I zoom in now, oops, you can see it a little bit better. We broke it and came back up and tested it here on this candle. So this candle broke it. Then this candle came back up and tested it, failed, and then from there you knew it was going to be heading further down. And then it just blasted right through this prior level with very little hesitation, and has now continued to do lower lows and lower highs. So right this moment, anyway, that's what's happening. We would need to, on a shorter term basis, look for a failure to make a lower low, and then a break of the prior higher low, and see what happens. Or rather lower high. Did I say higher low? I meant lower high. Anyway, so that's what we need to see is we need to see this market no longer able to make new lows and turn around, take out a previous lower high, and then that can tell us that the market has in fact turned around. So right now, trend, no question, very much down on gold in the intraday. So if you are a day trader looking to just grab a little bite, do a little scalping, something like that, I would be looking to go to the downside right now. But with the knowledge that this move could run out of steam anywhere in here fairly soon, perfectly possible. So I would be cautious about expecting any kind of huge move to the downside, since this is most likely merely a slight correction, a little retracement in an upwards trend of higher highs and higher lows. And I expect this to do the same, make the higher high, make a higher low somewhere, and then break the higher high and want to move higher and establish a continuation of this trend. We'll have to see what it wants to do. All right, taking a look at natural gas. Natural gas is just continuing to grind higher, and it is climbing nicely after having coming down here, form a very nice little double bottom there, and now heading higher. It has climbed over the 21 EMA. That trend went sideways, and it's now just starting to curve upwards. So this trend is trying to change, and you can see that really clearly on the 60-minute chart. There's our little double bottom there, and then we took out the previous lower high. And now we are establishing higher highs and higher lows, and we have a higher high, and now we just need to make a higher low, etc. So for the moment, time being, the trend is up. I want to see it take out this a little area here of congestion, and then it's really got to take out that lower high there in order to really march higher. And of course, that means also taking out this zone here. So natural gas is on an upswing. It is holding up. So watch for the higher highs and higher lows. So I'm expecting to see something like this, and then it needs to pull back, form a higher low, and then it can continue higher. Don't know how long this is going to take before it does that. I mean, this trend could get all the way up to here before it decides to reverse. We don't know. So right this instant, though, the trend is up, even though it's a fairly new trend. But this is that first stage of a new trend where most have probably not recognized it yet. This is early. So this is a good time to start watching closely for a long opportunity to shape up. And of course, if you're an intraday trader and you're looking to scalp or what have you, then it's just all about trying to take advantage of volatility when it presents itself. Now, there hasn't been a lot of volatility, recently, a little too far. You can see previously, we had some much larger volatility, and then it's just really gotten crushed down here. Volatility has really dried up. The ranges have gotten smaller and smaller and smaller, but right now it is just marching higher, and there are moves to be had. I mean, you can see these nice big pushes all of a sudden here. This was probably midnight, I'm guessing, right? Yeah, 1 a.m. Yep. So midnight to 1, Europe decided to turn it around, and push it higher. So you can capture some of those. You just got to know what direction the overall trend is in right now, and which is that is to the upside. The daily trend is to the upside. So I would be looking to scalp to the upside, and you can capture pieces of some of these moves. That move there, this move here was a nice one. This move here, of course, was a big one. And then even this one last night was a potentially good one. There was this one back here, this one here. So, there are a lot of moves to potentially be had depending on what time of the day you trade. And right now, like I said, I'd be looking to trade to the upside because that is the direction of the daily trend. All right, let's finish up with Bitcoin. The crypto market still basically going sideways. It has gotten pushed down a little bit. We are entering back down into this wedge triangle here that was shaping up. And Bitcoin is just continuing to do what it does, which is these huge shock moves and then sideways. Same thing here, here, here. Here, I mean, it's the way Bitcoin moves. It always seems to repeat this pattern pretty reliably, and it doesn't really matter time of day or night because Bitcoin is 24/7. So there's always something going on, but you've got to watch out for those big, sudden, volatile moves because if you're not prepared for them, if you're long at this level here and this happens, if you aren't ready to get out quickly, then you can suffer a very significant loss from there. But if you are prepared to capture some of these moves when they happen, there is definitely volatility to be had. Even a very tight range in Bitcoin can be $50 to $100. And that is a very tight range for Bitcoin, given that we're talking about a nearly $4,000 asset. So there is movement to be had, certainly, if you are into day trading something like this. But just watch out for that volatility because when it comes in, it's very, very fast. And you got to really be on your toes and ready to get the heck out of the way if you need to, or take profits when they present because it has a tendency like this to shoot way, way, way up and then come right back down again. So very volatile market. But big picture right now, it's really not going anywhere. We're still just kind of stuck in this area here between about 44.15 and about what is that 31, call it 31.29. We've just been bouncing around in that area and getting tighter and tighter, and now we're getting squeezed down into this little triangle here. So Bitcoin really needs to get up over that level or down below this level to establish much of anything. It's just not doing anything. It's going sideways. So really waiting and see which direction is it going to break. Are we going to get a new bull market and charge ahead, break that 44.15 level, and then go just continually taking out prior highs, or are we going to head lower and have a continuation of the bear market? Right now, the bigger picture trend is down. If you zoom out and look at lower lows and lower highs, we're still making them. So this is not technically a daily uptrend yet. We're still stuck in the downtrend and just in a sideways portion of it right now. So there you go, Bitcoin. Trade it carefully if you trade it at all. Take a last look at the S&P 500 and see what's going on there. Pierre is actually in the chat. Hi, Pierre. I just decided to look at the chat and see what was going on. Didn't realize you were in there, so welcome. Want to take a look at YM? All right, real quick, let me take a look at YM. Not something that I usually look at as part of my normal routine, but not terribly surprisingly, it looks pretty much identical to the ES. Very, very much the same kind of thing. We are still at a very critical, oops, I kind of misdrew that, critical level. There's a sell. I can't do it with these lines. My accuracy is terrible this morning. Anyway, roughly about there, we've got a sell zone right there, and we are right at it. It is a very, very crucial level right now. So I am looking for a retracement here. This market, it looks just like the ES, and it is at a level where if I were to plot an extension here, I would see a 161.8, like right around there. And we are in that, and it's at the level where I'm expecting a retracement. I'm expecting a pullback. I don't know for sure if we'll get it right now. It's possible that the sellers just will try to keep selling and selling and keep the market going sideways for a while here before finally correcting. We just don't know yet. It'll be really interesting to see what happens this morning when the U.S. bell rings for sure. The trend technically is up, but like I said, we're so extended here. And we're just at that very, very critical juncture that I'm very cautious about this and expecting a pullback. So trade carefully. Now, of course, if you're an intraday trader, you can go in both directions. There's always stuff happening in both directions. There's volatility to be had. So you can scalp, a few points here, a few points there, or even, more than a few, given that we're talking about a 26,000 point asset here. So that is kind of YM. It's pretty much a cousin of ES and NQ. I mean, really, they're all looking. All the financial indexes are looking pretty much the same here. They're all up in this area where previously we had, in the case of YM, kind of a double top. In the case of ES, of course, it's a triple top. But the point is, this level right around here that I'm attempting and failing to draw very well this morning is very, very critical. So watch out what's going to happen there. Even if we get a break of this, personally, myself, I would have a difficult time believing in it. But hey, we'll have to see what the market wants to give us. If it really wants to do that and then want to see about challenging the all-time highs, it can do that. I have a difficult time seeing right now that it's got the strength to do that without a retracement first. Everything in me is saying that we are due for that retracement, form that higher low. So that is really what I'm looking to happen. Then I can feel confident. Price gets back up here, breaks this level. I'll feel better about jumping on a trend to then challenge the all-time highs and beyond. All right. I hope that was useful for you. And that's basically it. Not a lot going on. There's that doji there right now. Market is kind of slowly, lazily pushing higher. But I'm really interested to see what's going to happen at the opening bell. And would not be surprised to see the sellers let the market push a little bit higher, let the retail public come in, and then fail. That's kind of what I'm expecting to play out. I could be wrong. We'll have to wait and see at the bell, but I would not be at all surprised to see that happen. That is a pretty standard maneuver in the mornings to fake out the retail public, is let them go one direction for a half hour, 45 minutes, and then turn around and just take it all away. So hopefully they don't take it away from you and you trade well today. That is it for me. Jonathan Van Clute with Stock Navigators, again, asking you to please do subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And to the new subscribers that we've had recently, hello, welcome, good to see you. And comment on the videos if you've got anything you want to tell us. And do like it as well. Give us that thumbs up. That really helps us out. You're very welcome, Pierre. I'm glad to see you. I hope to see you more in future sessions. So I will be back Wednesday morning and Friday again. Monday, Wednesday, Friday. That's my schedule. 5:45 a.m. I do these analyses. And I do them for all of us in the trading community, so we have a better idea of what might be shaping up for the day ahead. All right, everybody. Have a great day. Trade well. Take care.